All right, guys, welcome to the private training. Again, this is live and it is being recorded. For those of you who maybe have to cut out or have to leave unexpectedly, don't worry. It's going to be recorded. As long as everything goes smoothly with Google, we should be good to go. So we're going to give everybody a few minutes to get on. I'm running this thing through Google Hangout, and sometimes it tends to lag behind by 30 seconds, even as much as a minute sometimes. So I'm gonna let everybody get on, that way we can make sure that we get all the questions answered at the end, and I definitely want to leave enough time for all that. So um, I guess first of all, thank you for being a Newsletter Academy member, whether you just joined in this last launch, or opening of a launch, I guess, or whether you joined back in August or September, whenever it was I ran this thing. So thank you for being a member, and hopefully you get a lot out of tonight's training. I have some really cool stuff to share with you, some results of a case study that I've done myself, just a real small one, but it's an example of stuff that I've done on larger scale and things that we have going on currently as well. So it's just proof that this stuff works and is still working, and it's probably going to always work, because what I'm going to reveal to you tonight is something that has worked for the last 15 years for us personally. And it's really even better now because less and less people are using it. They just don't even really realize how valuable it is. So but we'll get into that shortly. If you guys can hear me, put a comment in the box below the video. If you can see the screen, put a comment in the box below the video. I want to make sure that we got all the stuff working out good. All right, sorry about that. I'm just making sure. I got another computer open over here. I want to make sure everything's set up right. If you get a glitch or something in this during the live training, you just refresh your page. It may end up kicking you back out, but it'll work that way. So I'm just going to get right into it here. So let me get over to the screen I need to be on. Again, just submit your questions as we go. I don't know that I'll really answer them during the training, because I want to make sure I get through this. I have a lot of stuff to get through, but I will definitely answer them at the end, if anything. So just submit your questions in the box below this video. You just got to put your name and email in, and then you can put your question in. So, all right, yeah, it looks good. Okay. All right, so here's kind of what I'm going to go over tonight, and kind of just an overview of this entire thing. This is really it's really a massive opportunity, and like I said before, in the emails leading up to this, it's a very, very underused strategy by most marketers, because there's a lot of reasons, and I'll get into some of those later on. It's just a very underused strategy, and I'm honestly not even sure why more people aren't doing this. So it's a very massive opportunity. Tons and tons of subscribers are just sitting out there waiting for you to put something in front of them. Seriously, it's mind-boggling. So I'm going to get into that, and I'm going to start after that. We're going to just explain what the traffic source is, and finally just reveal that and let everybody know what it is. We're going to go over the tools you need to do this. It's about 4 things, and you probably already have them all, so not much there. I'm going to show you step by step how to set up what I call these little funnels. They're very simple to set up. All you need is one page. A one-page website is all it'll take. And after that, I'm going to show you the 2 new niches that I'm getting into. And from there, we're going to go to Q&A. And I'm probably going to jump around a little bit throughout this. I just put this together today. The actual PowerPoint. I've had this list in my Evernote for weeks and weeks, because it was something I wanted to do actually at the end of last year, and I never really got around to doing it. And I just decided it's a great fit for the Newsletter Academy members because it's a perfect attachment to what this business already is. It's building on the structure of this business. It's adding new subscribers, on autopilot, and it's just a perfect fit for the Newsletter Academy stuff. So the next thing I want to talk about briefly is something that my dad told me. For those of you who don't know, my dad is Mike McGroarty. He has a very successful gardening website that I actually am a partner with on him. But he started it back in 1999, and he's studied marketing for 25, 30 years. And Gary Halbert was one of his virtual mentors, I guess you could say. Is it somebody he studied to death, read every single one of his newsletters, probably knows everything he's ever put out, front to back, word for word. But one thing that he always says to anybody new getting into marketing is you're one sales letter away from making more money than you can sensibly spend in a lifetime. And there's more truth to that with what I'm about to share with you than anything that you've ever seen before. Because if you can get one of these funnels going, just one, and you're in a market that lends itself to an endless amount of subscribers, that's all it takes. You're done. You can have this thing set up and running automatically, giving you as many leads as you need, and you're going to have more money than you can sensibly spend in a lifetime. It's the exact same thing. You don't need a sales letter, because what I'm going to show you actually is how to do this as an affiliate. You don't even need a product. You'll see when I get to my two niches that I'm actually going to be doing one as an affiliate and the other as a product owner, but I'm going to show you how I'm going to create the product too, which anybody can do. I don't even have experience in the niche, but we'll get into that towards the end. So I guess the reason I put this Gary Halbert thing in here is I tend to throw in some inspirational stuff in what I do, because I believe that everybody needs somebody that inspires them and somebody that's kind of lighting a fire under them to do more and get more out of life. So hopefully you take what I'm teaching you tonight and put it into action and, do something to change your life. That's my hope for you. So I want to start with some math, excuse me. I know how much everybody loves math, but that's really what marketing comes down to, is simple math. So let's say that you have a goal of making $100,000 a year. And let's say that you have a potential of making $30 profit per sale, whether that's an affiliate product or it's your own product. If that's the case, you need to make 3,334 sales at $30 to hit that goal. That works out to 278 a month, or 10 a day. And to do that, to get to 10 a day, you need 1,000 clicks a day at a 1% conversion rate, or 500 clicks a day at 2% conversion rate. So this all comes down to simple math. And the only way to change that is to either get cheaper clicks or to make more money per sale, whether that's, adding upsells or selling a more expensive product, whatever that is. That's the only two things that you can ever change for the math side of things, is your cost per click or the amount of money you're getting out of a customer. So remember that, because we're going to come back to that later on. And to help with all this math stuff, inside of the Newsletter Academy, you should have access to this calculator that I created. The link is at the bottom of the screen here. So what I did here is I put in, I backwards figured out how much a month I need to make to get to that $100,000. That's $8,334. My product price is $30. Conversion rate is 1%. And I just played with this cost per click until I hit my goal. So my goal actually is to just break even. And that probably doesn't make any sense to you right now. But with this business, your goal should be to break even. You want to break even, being that you want to put new subscribers on your list and not lose money. Hopefully that makes sense. That's the whole goal behind everything I'm going to share with you tonight, is to have other people pay you to build your list. So just kind of think about that for a second, because it really puts in perspective what the potential is with, say, like the weight loss niche. There's millions and millions and millions of people out there that are qualified prospects that are looking for advice on weight loss. Excuse me. If you could just get, say, 10,000 of those people on your list, just say, what if you could have a 10,000 person list and you didn't have to pay a dime for it? And you could just send an email to those people every single day, providing value to them. You could probably get to your goal of 100,000 a year. As you're going to see later on, each subscriber on my, like on an average, my list, they're worth well over $1 a month to me because of the stuff I'm showing you tonight. So that gets you, with a 10,000 person list, you're at $10,000 a month. Somebody that's interested in weight loss is also interested in recipes. They're interested in, I mean, it could be anything really, because weight loss is such a broad thing that you could really segment it way down based on a lot of different niches. So the next thing to think about is, if you open up this calculator, go to this page and open up this calculator, you can play around with these numbers. And as soon as I change this to 2%, all of these numbers change. So let me actually go online here. Well, I guess I need to share it with you guys first. All right. And I'm going to put in $30. I'm going to put in 1. I'm going to put in 30 cents. All right, so this is the screen that I had on my PowerPoint. $0 profit per day. And you're spending the same amount you're making. You're making no money. So here's what happens when you change this to 2. Now you're up to $4,000. That's in a month, $138 profit per day. So you can see the sales are the same because you're converting more people and you're making $4,000. But what you don't really see here is you're getting this many clicks. You don't see where the subscribers are. There's no subscribers anywhere on here. So the real money in this business is in the list. I know you probably hear that all the time. Money's in the list, money's in the list. And that's true, but the money's in the list only if you know how to use it. And you know, if you've been through the Newsletter Academy, you should know how to use it. But I will cover some more of that stuff later on tonight. But I just want to show you this tool because I think it's to me it's fun to go in here and mess with the numbers and just to see, you know, if I get 2%, what if my clicks are 50 cents a piece? I'm still making money and I'm building a list at the same time. So I don't know, it's cool to me to be able to just go in and to mess with that stuff. So go back to the PowerPoint. So I kind of explained to you why do we just want to break even? And it's because every person I've ever seen who is successful online, it's because they have an email list. All the guys in the mastermind groups that I'm in, they've all got email lists in the millions. And all of their lists are highly engaged. And they've kind of got it down to a science as to how they're putting people on the list, how automated it is, and how they're extracting money from that list. So That's really what you're going to learn tonight. Obviously, you guys probably don't need me to tell you all of this stuff as to what the benefit is to having an email list. Obviously, you can send an email, make money whenever you want. The most important thing, though, is the email list is yours. It's a true asset. Meaning, if you're a affiliate marketer and you're direct linking from, let's just say, Facebook. Facebook doesn't really like direct linking anymore, but let's say you're doing that, you're making $10,000 a month just doing that. What happens if Facebook shuts their doors tomorrow? You're done. You don't have that $10,000 anymore. You don't have anything anymore. But if you're building a list, the list is yours. You could take it from if you have it in Aweber, you could take it and move it over to GetResponse or iContact or Infusionsoft. It's your asset. You can take it and move it wherever you want and use it. And that's really the whole idea of a real business online, is having a consistent, reliable stream of monthly income. And while it may be consistent and while it may be somewhat reliable, that direct linking strategy, it's not going to be reliable forever. It's not something that you can rely on for years and years because, as you know, Facebook changes their policies, AdWords changes their policies. I mean, they all go bad eventually, and the only thing you're left with is the list that you have, or the knowledge that you've gained. So another benefit of building an email list is you're able to test product ideas really quickly. I've done this myself in a couple different niches. We do it in the gardening space all the time, and it kind of goes hand in hand with the next bullet point there. You can just ask people, hey, like, what else are you guys interested in? What do you wish we had that we don't have? And you can kind of feel people out, and you also get a kind of a sense of who your best customers are, because you can look at your email list, narrow it way down to somebody that bought like your highest priced product. You could take that segment of people and just really narrow in on them. One thing that I do, it's kind of creepy, is I'll take we added this year a product that's called the Everything on the Page offer in our gardening business. It's $997. They get almost every product that we have. I took those people and I put their email address into Facebook, and I pulled them up on Facebook, and I pretty much stalked them just to see, what else they're interested in, who they are, how old they are they married, do they have kids, do they go to college? That data is priceless, because those are our best customers. Those are the people that are willing to spend the most money with us. And there's no affiliate marketer out there that does that kind of stuff. There's very few regular marketers that are product owners that do that stuff. And with an email list, you have that flexibility and the opportunity to do that. So the other thing you can do is you can create lookalike audiences on Facebook and Google. And this is kind of hit or miss anymore. You're almost better just to do some highly targeted stuff like on Facebook. But like a lookalike audience is, you can upload your email list. Facebook will look at it and will say, these people over here kind of look like people on your list. Let's create an audience from them. Google just started doing that kind of, not so much a lookalike, but similar, where you can upload your list and you can retarget people on your list, and they'll try to somewhat show your ads to other people that are similar. It's kind of still new to them. I'm not sure that I would trust it myself, but you never know. And the other thing with a list is you have the opportunity to sell advertising space, and so many people overlook this, and it's so valuable. I know a guy in the survival market who just told me he is making $150,000 a month just selling ad space to in his newsletter. And like, that's a lot of money. It's a lot of extra money every single year from something that you never did before, that you didn't even think about. And truthfully, it doesn't harm your list at all. If you monitor what you're allowing to be advertised, your list is going to like you for it. You're introducing them to new stuff. You're not seeing the same ads all the time from you over and over again. So that's another side benefit of owning your own list. And there's more stuff on that I just left out. But those are the biggest benefits. So let's talk about this massive opportunity. What is a massive opportunity? There's literally an endless amount of subscribers for this traffic source. They are all preconditioned to opt into email lists. And it's literally the cheapest way that I know of and the fastest way that I know of to build a list of prospects and to make money online. I've never seen anything faster than this, and it works in any niche. You can see in there I put banjos, tiny houses, knitting. I've heard some really weird ones. So this is one of the biggest things that I've seen is being overlooked by many marketers. Doesn't require you to have like a huge blog with tons of content. All you need is one page to get started. You don't even need anything else, honestly. If that one page is working, let it run. So let's talk about what the traffic source is. It's email. More specifically, it's email ads. So what that is, I mean, you've heard of solo ads probably from the internet marketing space, but it's way more profitable outside of that. You know, I've done solo ads in the internet marketing space, and honestly, it gets worse and worse every time I try to do it because the people are just so sick of getting emails about the same stuff over and over again. It's tough for them to see the good stuff through all the bad. But in other niches and other markets, it's gold. It's literally gold. So email advertising is really just going out, purchasing space in other people's newsletters. So there's solo ads, there's sponsorships, and there's banners. Those are really the three most popular. Solo ad is you're pretty much getting a whole email sent to their list. Sponsorship is you're getting a very big chunk of an email. I would say 80% of the email is yours. And then at the top, there'll be like a banner and maybe some text links that are other ads. And then obviously banners, probably know what banners are. That's it. That's really all the email advertising is. Those are really the only three choices. And there's a big difference in pricing between solo ads and sponsorships, believe it or not. I just looked into this, into a new list owner for the gardening site. One solo ad dropped $5,000 to a list of 150 some thousand people. Sponsorship was $500. That's crazy because honestly, it's not much different. Again, if you've got questions, if you don't really know what I'm talking about, if I'm going too fast, please post them because I will get to them. I'll try and look through here the questions as I'm going to see if there's anything relevant. Somebody asked if they hope the recording is better than the presentation. It is. It's 100% better than the live presentation. Google tends to water it way down for the live one because they're trying to show it. I mean, you could have 1,000 people on here if you wanted to. So they water the live presentation way down, but I promise the recording is way better. All of the videos that are inside the Newsletter Academy, those were all live hangouts at one time, and those came out very well. So, all right. So a sponsorship example. This is what I was just talking about. Sponsorship ad for survival list, 156,000 people, $500. So these numbers, what I'm showing you here, these are real numbers. You can expect a 5% click-through rate on that list of 156,000. 5% that's average. Our gardening list, we have 230,000 people on our gardening list now. We usually average anywhere between 4 and 6% click-through rates on all the emails we send out. So 5% of 156,000, that would be 7,800 people to my site, which I always send to a squeeze page. We'll talk more about that here later on. If I get a 40% opt-in rate, which I usually always at least get 40%, it's usually closer to 50. That's 3,120 subscribers. So for 500 bucks, I'm getting 3,000 subscribers. That's 16 cents a subscriber. I can't even pay for clicks that cheap anywhere. Not on Facebook, not on Bing, not on AdWords. I can't get clicks for 16 cents a piece. There could be a fluke deal somewhere where you could get clicks for, from some crappy traffic source, but not a subscriber. You're not getting subscribers from a crappy traffic source. 16 cents a subscriber is crazy. But like I'm going to show you later on, if you use the email funnel strategy, I'll show you how to get those subscribers for free and make money at the same time. So where do you find these places to advertise? Where can you find list owners and email places to advertise? What I listed here, this is everything that I do. 3 places: Google, which by searching Google, you're going to end up finding the list owners. And then the other choice is list managers and brokers. So I'm actually going to go skip around. I'm going to get this one out of the way. So I've made a huge list here of all the list managers and brokers that I have looked up. That I've gone through, asked questions from, got information from, and I've either ran an ad through them, or I decided not to run an ad through them. And I didn't decide not to because I didn't like them. I just decided not to because I was getting better results somewhere else. And not better results, I was happy with the results I was getting, is the best way to put it. Some of these places don't have valid lists for us either, in the gardening space or in any of the niche markets that I'm in. Some of these, they only specialize like in, survival is a big one. I would say 80% of these specialize in survival or make money online. And I'm pretty much done with make money online traffic and that kind of stuff. Other than my own personal list, I don't usually build that list just because it's more of a headache than it's worth, and it's just too hard. What I like to focus on are the bigger mass market products. So the weight loss, anything that fits in the health or relationships category. I am I'm basically done in the wealth category. And honestly, I'm even getting out of those two. I'm getting into more of you'll see later on. I'll get into that later. But just know that if you have a kind of more of a mainstream niche, you're going to find everything you need in one of these places. The Nextmark, the Info USA, and the DNB, those are more of compiled lists, so they're not going to be, they're not going to be like specialized people that are already opted in. Those are going to be just compiled lists of, like, if you had to do like a B2C thing, so a list of landscapers, plumbers, electricians, that kind of stuff, you could use one of these 3. Nextmark does get into like buyers of info products, so I know that, like, for us, I've looked into Manus Tiller, the Manus Rototiller list. People that have bought a Manus Rototiller, that list is in here that you can rent. But all these other ones, these brokers, they don't make money unless they sell you an ad, and they're not going to sell you an ad if it's going to do bad. So what they do is they'll take your entire funnel, they'll look at it and say, man, you really need to change that, or you need to get rid of this page, or you need a better headline than that, because they want it to work for you so that you continue to buy ad space on a regular basis. They only get paid when you pay them, when you pay the list owner. So that survival guy I was talking about, he told me he's using one of these. I'm not going to mention which one it is because I don't want to just step on any toes, but he's using one of these managers or a broker to manage his whole list, and he's got well over 1 million buyers on this list. They manage it for him. He does nothing. He gets 150 grand a month. These guys here know what they're doing. The other option that very few people do. So this is the first thing that people do. Somebody that's looking for email ad space to rent or to advertise in, they find one of these guys. 9 times out of 10, this is what they do. What I like to do, and what I did for one of the case studies I'm going to show later on, is I use Google. So I'll do 2 different searches. I'll do whatever my keyword phrase is in quotes, +, and then I'll search one of these 3 things. And that'll return a whole list of things that you can go through. But this one right here is kind of a ninja one. Not many people that I know of search for email newsletters like this. And this is the one I'm going to show you how to do. So let me go back here. And we'll just go to Google from here. So I'm going to search, let's see. Let's just think of a random one here. Well, let's just do, what was the one that I had on there? No, this is a really random one. It just came to my head. Disc golf plus powered by AWeber. So let me explain what this is here, this search query. When you put quotes inside, or when you put stuff inside of quotes in Google, Google only returns things that have this exact phrase. It's not going to pull up anything that just has disc or just has golf. It's got to have both. When you do a plus like this with another one, it's only going to return things that have both of those phrases. So what I'm hoping to find is a disc golf website that also has an AWeber form on it. If they have an AWeber form on it, 9 times out of 10, they got some kind of newsletter you can advertise in. Let's just see. Not a lot of disc golf players, so it's kind of a thing that my wife's uncle got me into a little bit for a while. So we got 44 results. At least there's something though. Let's see what this is. Disc golf trick shots, but some of digital marketing and commerce. This is just part of what you do with this kind of search. Is it you're just looking for something that nobody else is going to be looking for, and that's where you're going to find the deals. As you'll see that happen to me later on. But let's try something else. Something a little easier, I guess. Just do play piano. Yeah, there should be a lot more of these. Learn how to play the piano, finger positions. All right, this is perfect. You see right here, want to learn how to play the piano, fill in the fields below, become a better pianist by absorbing piano lessons. So what you do is kind of just spend some time. There's already an affiliate disclaimer, which tells me they're probably just promoting affiliate products. Just spend some time looking at the site. Not a lot of these guys are going to have a spot that says advertising anywhere or sponsorships. What you do is you poke around on their site, see if you can maybe find like a box like this. Here's a direct email, Denise at Absorbing Piano Lessons. Shoot Denise an email. Say, hey, I see that you have an email list on your website. Would you be willing to send an email out for me if I paid you $50? That's it. Just a real quick email. It's either a yes or a no, and you can tell right away what she's going to think just by the first sentence she replies back. If she just says, well, if she starts asking questions, she's interested. If she just says not interested, obviously move on to the next one. So you go back out. So what you could do is just open up like a spreadsheet, and I use numbers for this on Apple, and just copy the URL, paste it in a column. In the contact page, copy the email address, paste it in another one, and then another column on there, put status, and just say send email, and just keep adding to that spreadsheet. And if they reply, you can edit the status column by saying they replied, said yes, replied, accepted $50 payment, and then you can send them over an email and see what happens. And I'll show you later on how to, once we get into the setup of this stuff, how to actually go on with it. But that's really what you do, how to use Google to find people that have newsletters. And there's tons of other ways, tons of other search queries. So I use Aweber. That's how I knew about the Powered by Aweber thing. Every generic Aweber form has that. I'm sure the other ones do too, like the iContacts, Get Responses, all those. They probably have the same similar thing. Just see what they say on the form, and just swap that out for this. So that's a pretty cool trick, though. All right. So we went through that. Again, I know that, like somebody said, that the quality right now during this live presentation is not so good, but I promise you'll be able to see all this stuff in HD quality in the recording, and I'll get that recording up probably tomorrow morning. It takes Google a couple hours for them usually to process the recording and post it on my YouTube channel. All right, so this is my recommended method of using this type of advertising. I always send all my traffic to a squeeze page, never to a sales page, never to a blog post, never to my home page, always to a squeeze page. I want to build a list. That's hands down number one, the most important thing of this whole course. Build your list, period. If you get nothing else out of this whole entire night, building your list is the number one thing you need to do to make money online. Tons of other ways to make money. They won't last. All the tricks, all the direct linking crap, it all goes away. Trust me, I've been in this game for 6 years. I see what's working now and what worked back in 2010 when I got into this. Totally different. The only thing that stays the same is email still makes money, and it still makes damn good money. If you just read my email that I sent out, I don't know when that was, when I got back, must have been Monday. I just went on vacation with my whole family in the Bahamas. I was gone for a total of 11 days. Came back to work and went in to look at the stats for our gardening business. Gardening site made $18,000, whatever it was, $18,000, $19,000 in 11 days, and all I did was set up 3 emails to go out before I left. That literally took me an hour to set up 3 emails. Made that much money. It doesn't change, and this has never changed from the moment that I started doing this in 2010. Email has only gotten better. It's only gotten better for me. Every single time that I put time and effort into perfecting my email marketing, perfecting my email autoresponder series, making those convert better, putting more people on my list, I just make more money. So hopefully you're getting my point that email is not dead. A lot of people keep saying it's dead because they're trying to sell you some other stupid thing that they think makes money right now. Email is not dead. It's not going to be dead for a long time. It's still one of the number one methods of contacting people online. People still look at their email more than 100 times a day. They check their email on an average. I don't know what it was. I just read this the other day. It's an outrageous number of times. So I always send traffic to a squeeze page to build the list. Then I redirect the subscriber from there. Where you send them from there is up to you. Depends on if you're it depends on what your model is. If you do what I'm going to show you on the next slide, send them to the offer. if you're an affiliate. If you're actually giving them something like a free report for opting in, you can send them to a download page where they can download that report right away. Hopefully that report is selling them into something else, or on the download page, you can say like step 1, download your report. Step 2, go check out this product or whatever. One page is all you need though. You don't need a thank you page, because if you're going to redirect them to an offer, and an offer isn't yours, it's an affiliate offer, all you need is a squeeze page. So it doesn't need to be complicated. All right, let's see. All right, so here's the case study. This is just one of many that I've done in as an affiliate. This is an affiliate case study. I launched this thing in, I don't know, 2 hours maybe is all it took me. I built this page out in ClickFunnels, and I found an offer, and I'm gonna go through how to do all of this stuff later on here. Not how to create the page, but how to find the offer and all the setup. The setup's gonna be later, but I wanted to show you this case study right now because it kind of leads into that stuff. So doing the Google search thing, the thing I just showed you, I found a paleo site. Paleo is a type of diet. If you don't know what that is, people that paleo diet's like eating a lot of meat and that kind of stuff. It's not no carbs or I honestly don't even know. Again, you don't need to know anything about this to be an affiliate. A lot of people think you need some kind of experience in the niche. You got to be an expert. This is proof right here. You don't. I couldn't even tell you one of the meals in the paleo diet. All I did was went to ClickBank, found this offer down here for a cookbook recipes. Pretty much swiped whatever they had for the headline. I put it on my squeeze page. And I'll read it because that's probably really crappy right now. You probably can't see it. It says includes over 470 delicious paleo recipes. Plus, you'll also receive a 10-week meal plan. And then down here in really small print, appetizers, salads, main dishes, side dishes, desserts, snacks, drinks, and more. And then in the button just says access now, and it says enter your email address. Doesn't really say anything about getting it for free. That's important. You don't want to be telling people, enter your email now and get this for instant free access. You don't want to say that, because if you redirect them to a page where they got to pay for it, you're going to be pretty ticked off. Now, I didn't say, it's kind of somewhat deceiving that because I got the book up here and it doesn't say get instant access. All it says is access now. So they're entering their email, sending them here. I approached somebody using the Google search method I showed you. Said, hey, would you be willing to send an email? I see you're building a list. I just wanted to do a little test, and I'm willing to spend $40. They said yes. This was like the fourth person. I think I sent 4 emails, and this person replied within 20 minutes. They had a very small list of 3,000. They were an affiliate marketer themselves. I could tell on their website. But what do all affiliates want? To make money. So $40 is $40. He could have sent an email to himself and done this, but whatever. I got 182 clicks, 95 opt-ins. That's like I don't know what that's more than 50% opt-in rate. $113 in commissions. This is a ClickBank product, which is almost an 185% ROI. Plus, I built a list of 95 subscribers for free. Again, I used the Google search method to find this person, and it was a real simple a series of 3 email follow-ups, and I actually found those emails. I didn't write a word of them. I found paleo PLR on JVZoo for I think $7. It was like a report to give away and a 7-day autoresponder series. I only uploaded 3 of them. I picked the 3 best ones. Some of them were kind of crappy, but the other ones were great. They were real simple. They gave value, and I just shot a link in there. Get 470 delicious paleo recipes. Click here. I put that link in there like 2 times in each email. And other than that, the email really just gave value. It wasn't really selling. It was just a good email giving value, and there were links injected throughout the email. So it's really that simple. Spent $40, made 113, also built a list of 95. Now I can email those 95 people and say, hey, in case you wanted to know more about the paleo diet, go check out this product. It gives you everything you need to know. Plus it's got a workout chart and whatever it is. There's tons of different paleo products that I can promote on ClickBank. I can go in and say, hey, paleo isn't really working out for you. Maybe try this. You can actually eat whatever you want every other day, because I know there's a diet called the every other day diet, or used to be on ClickBank. But just an example, you could do anything like that. Just pick something, however you can fit it into the paleo people. Say, hey, I know I just shared with you this paleo thing, but this over here is pretty cool too. Maybe check it out and see if it's a better fit for you. Just remember that you're doing this to deliver value to people. You're not just doing it to make money. And once you understand that, it kind of changes the way that you look at things. One thing that I always do, like before I send an email out, I say, if I were to send this email to my family, would they respect me for it? Or would they say, hey, man, you're just trying to sell me crap? It's one way to put it in perspective as to what you want to put in an email and what you want to get out of an email. All right, I got a question here. When you use the Google search method, how do you verify that they send the emails? Well, I'm going to get into that here in a second, but the simple thing is tracking. So I always use a tracking link, and if I don't get the clicks that I expect to get, and the other thing too is I always ask to be put on their email list. Not that I could prove that they sent it to everybody. Nobody can really ever prove that, but there are ways that you can use a tracking link to show impressions and that kind of stuff. But for $40, I'm not too worried about it. And tracking links are really the way that I go about it. And again, I always pay by PayPal. And this works sometimes it doesn't. But you can go back to PayPal and say, hey, this guy screwed me. I want to file a complaint, get my money back. And PayPal will get your money back most of the time. I've never had them say, hey, you didn't get what you wanted, tough. That's kind of the part with PayPal that, we recommend that our growers, we have a buy sell area on our site, and we make them use PayPal to buy and sell because it protects both parties. So there's a couple different ways you can go about getting around the verifying whether or not they sent the email. Give me just a second here. I'm going to go through these questions and make sure the other stuff can wait till the end because it's not really relevant to what I'm talking about now. Okay. All right, so here's another case study that I mentioned in one of my previous emails to you guys. It's 19,000 subscribers in 8 days. This is a guy that he's a marketer teaching marketing, showing you how he built a list of marketers. So take it for what it's worth. It's a great case study to show you the logistics of a funnel and the methodology behind what you should do as far as if somebody does this, do this. If they don't do that, try this. He's got a full chart that he goes through. There's a video that he goes through. There's a lot of holes in his bucket though. You can see on here he lost a ton of money by overpaying. Yeah, he paid like 20 some $1,000, only made 16,000. He built a list of 19,000 people, but in the internet marketing space, that list probably is worth. You're lucky to get a couple grand out of that a month, because in internet marketing, you got to make your money back immediately on solo ads, or you're screwing yourself. So he doesn't show what his offers were, and I can probably bet that they weren't that great. But how he built the list is worthy of study. So I put that link in here. Again, sorry if the quality sucks so that you can't see what it is right now. If anybody wants it, like right now, you can comment in here, and when the training's over, I'll just reply to your email with the link to this thing so you can get it tonight. All right, so let's talk about the tools that you need for this, for solo ads and email advertising. Real simple, guys. Domain name, hosting, squeeze page, which you have a template already inside the Newsletter Academy area. I'll show you where you can get another template in here in a second. You need an autoresponder. I recommend Aweber. $20 a month, $19 a month, whatever it is, it's great. And tracking is optional. It's not optional once you get in the larger campaigns, but like for my $40 a month, for my $40 campaign, I didn't really have to do tracking. I knew it was the only thing that I had running. Kind of the beauty too of using ClickFunnels is they show you all the stats live through your funnel. You see how many people visited each page, how many opted in, what the conversion rate was, and I knew I had no other traffic going to that page. So tracking, I just started using Improvely. Honestly, it is a little bit better than ClickMeter. ClickMeter is what I used for a very long time. These two are both hosted, not hosted. They're online solutions. CPV Lab is a hosted solution. You have to host on your own site. They have a lot more capabilities, but it's not so easy to set up if you don't know what you're doing. So that's it. Those are the only tools you need to do this. And then once we get in the setup, I'll show you kind of more from the technical standpoint what you need to do to get going. So here's the step-by-step funnel setup. If you want to get started like tonight, as quickly as possible, like I did with the paleo thing, this is what you do. You go to ClickBank, set up a squeeze page. You find a product on ClickBank, set up a squeeze page, set up tracking, an autoresponder, create your email ad, and go. You're obviously going to have to find somebody to drop the email for you, but I had somebody reply in a matter of minutes because I guess I emailed them at the right time. I don't know, whatever it was. But it doesn't take long once you get somebody. So let's go through each one of these. I'm going to go through these kind of quickly because I've covered some of this stuff already in the Newsletter Academy, but I recommend ClickBank because they're already set up for this, and you're protected by a lot of different things that they already have set up. They already have tracking for you. You don't have to mess with payments. You don't have to mess with waiting to get paid. If you're a brand new affiliate, you get paid in 2 weeks, I believe, and then every week after that. So the way that I do it is I'll just go to ClickBank. I'll go to the marketplace, and right at the search box, I'll just click search without entering anything. What that does is it returns all of the products sorted by most popular, I believe. At the top is the most popular product on ClickBank, and then as you go down, it goes down the same. If you want to sort by gravity, you can sort by gravity. It's up to you. I just try and find a product that's already high converting. Typically, VSLs tend to convert better. So in the weight loss space, I've been using the fat diminisher product. I've been promoting the fat diminisher product. It just freaking converts like crazy. It's unbelievable. And the upsells convert like crazy. I've never really seen anything like it before. So, but then again, in that paleo example, that's probably one of the worst sales pages I've ever seen. But I just grabbed it and ran with it because I was more concerned with the squeeze page part of it and wanted to see what the conversions would be like, and if people would opt in, and if people would check the emails, what those kind of open rates would be later on in the series. If they would click through to the offer from the follow-up. I wanted to see all that stuff. I wasn't really concerned with making money at the time, but I ended up making money. And it was I could tell you every single sale came from a follow-up email of mine. I made 0 sales initially, not one. Out of all of those subscribers, whatever that was, 95 subscribers, didn't make 1 sale. They all came from follow-up emails. So that kind of tells you something too, which is kind of important to understand when you're redirecting somebody. Don't think you just need to automatically send them to an offer, like all the gurus tell you to do, because it doesn't work as well as you think it does. It works in internet marketing because that's what people want. They want to buy stuff. When you're in other markets and you promise somebody something on a squeeze page, you got to give it to them. So I sent them to that offer because that's what the promise was on the squeeze page. If I was promising them a report, I would send them to probably send them to a thank you page or download page where they can get the report. And again, I would test that. Honestly, that's the best answer, is to test it. So one of the things that I do when I promote products as an affiliate is I always look at their affiliate tools pages, because I want to get a feel for what the hook is. And the hook is what pulls somebody in when they read your ad, when they see your ad for the first time. They got to think, man, that's interesting. I got to see what this is about. Because if they don't have a good hook, if their banner ads suck, if they don't have a strong headline on the sales page, I don't usually promote it unless it's just converting like crazy. So like Fat Diminisher, they don't even have a headline on the sales page. All it is a VSL, a video in the middle of the white screen, and it's got a guy on the left, which is the product owner, which is Wes Virgin, and like another girl who's real fit on the right. That's it. There's no headline, but it converts like crazy because it's a very, very compelling video. It tells a good story. The other thing too is when you're doing your research, like on Google, trying to find people to advertise on their email list, add yourself to their list, see what they're sending out. I do this all the time. I have a whole separate email account where I add my email to people's list just to look at the emails I get. It's kind of like the old junk mail thing, subscribing or buying a bunch of mail order products so you can get the junk mail that comes after that. You can see what people are trying to sell you. So I do this a lot, and I do it in a lot of different niches because I want to see. This is how I find niches that are kind of outside the norms. If I think about something, if I'm sitting at home on a Sunday and I see a commercial for something weird, and they're driving people to a website, I'll enter that in my Evernote on my phone, make a note to go check it out to see what they're doing to convert people from TV to a website online. I do the same thing. I add myself to email lists to see what the next step is in their process or in their funnel. And I do this with pay-per-click ads all the time too. All right, let's see. So the next step is setting up a squeeze page. And again, you got a template already in the members area. Let me show you how to get another one here. All right, so if you go to my blog, DustinMcGroarty.com, there is right here a free high converting responsive squeeze page. That's what it looks like. It's responsive, obviously. It's pretty much a match of my paleo design because like I said, it's typically get between 40 and 50% opt-in rate on these pages. So you can get that. There's just a link right here to download it. And then I'm actually going to show you too while I'm here. When I set up the tracking, when I show you guys how to set up tracking, you can look on my site for free affiliate link tracking script. This is like a 2,000 word post that I did, but it's got a bunch of code on here, a bunch of redirect code. So basically this is free tracking for you. Uh, and shows you how to set up tracking in ClickBank so you can track keywords back from, like if you're advertising on Bing. So instead of a keyword here, you can put like piano email and then the date or something like that. Piano email number 4, date. So that's where that is on my site. So if you just go to the homepage, you'll see them all. So they're actually right next to each other, these two right here. So now you got 2 squeeze pages. They're already done for you. You're obviously HTML templates, so you got to know what you're doing with HTML. The other option is to just use ClickFunnels, which I used ClickFunnels to design my first one on for the paleo niche. I don't even remember when I did that. It was sometime in 2015. Then I just decided to turn it into HTML so that I could create my own tracking, because I was sick of the tracking. Which if you read that blog post, you'll understand. I was sick of the tracking programs out there. They're too damn confusing, and they make it so hard to find the numbers that you need. And obviously, I put right here, just keep it simple. And with the sales page, with the squeeze pages, I tend to just swipe copy from anywhere, whether it's a banner ad or whether it's straight from the sales page. You just want to make sure that you keep it congruent from start to finish, and I got that on the bottom here. You want the person, it should be like you're leading the person by the hand, step by step down the path you want them to take. So from the email that comes in their inbox, and maybe it says get 470 paleo recipes, click here. They click that ad, they land on your squeeze page, and the squeeze page says get 470 paleo recipes. Enter your email here, access now. Then they're redirected to the sales page where it pretty much says buy the book to get the recipes. That's a congruent funnel. It's really just one page by you, but I call it a funnel because it funnels them from email to your site to the affiliate site. And you can do the same thing with it as a product owner, from email to your squeeze page to your sales page, or from your squeeze page to your download page to your sales page. So either way, just keep it simple, but keep it congruent. You don't want to jump people all around from, like, I would never want to send somebody to my squeeze page and then redirect them to my home page of my site and pretty much say, hey, go try and find what you just downloaded or what you opted in for. You want to make it as easy as possible for them, and you don't want them to be confused as to what you want them to do next. So tracking, I pretty much talked about tracking already. And this is what the free option I just showed you on my website. So if you go to my homepage, you can find both of that, the template, the squeeze page template, and then the free affiliate link tracking script. You're gonna have to read that whole post to understand how it works and how to set it up. It is kind of complicated, but once you get the understanding of it, I've had people use it already, and they say it's the best thing that they ever found for affiliate tracking, because I made it for affiliates. So like these improve leads and click meters, they're not just for affiliate marketers. They've got every single thing under the sun you can think of in there, rotators and IP blockers and the crap that you just don't need. You don't need that stuff on a day-to-day basis. This tracking script that I have, it does everything you need to do for affiliate marketing, which is basically track a conversion, a sale, back to the initial source for the lead. That's all you need. You don't need to know, the percentage of the whatever. That's it. So everything you need to know is in that tracking script. All right, let's go. Autoresponder series. So like I told you already, as much as PLR gets slammed by most people where they just think it's garbage, I would say 50% of it is. But some of the stuff that's getting put out, like on JVZoo, and even the Warrior Forum's gotten a lot better. It's being put together by actual writers, actual researchers. It's not being just copy and pasted from other places. You just got to know who you're buying from. So few good places that I like to go for PLR is PLR Mini Mart and Flaming Hot PLR. Those are two places other than, JV Zoo and Warrior Form. But for like $7, I mean, I pretty much gambled my $7 hoping that the emails would be good enough, because what it does is it at least gives you a starting point. And I typically don't just copy and paste. Even from like an affiliate swipe email, I typically don't just copy and paste it. Like I'll copy and paste it and then I'll read through it, make my own edits, make it sound a little bit better, because they usually screw it up somehow. And I like to add my own personal flair to it too. So same with PLR, it gives you a place to start from. It gives you the structure, and it gives you some of the knowledge maybe that you just don't really know. Like I don't know anything about paleo. I just know that people are buying, spending money on it online. So I just needed a place to start from. And the girl that wrote this stuff, either she was on the diet or she knew what the hell she was talking about. So I got lucky with that one, but I didn't have to edit much of it, I guess is what I'm saying. But usually I'll start with 3 emails just to see what the numbers look like. So in Aweber, they just started this campaign thing in Aweber where you can have a campaign or whatever. I use the legacy follow-up series because it's just easier. And the follow-up series, you can see what the open rates are, and you can see what the click-through rates are on your emails, your follow-up emails. So I'll do 3, and I'll put people on the list, and I'll see what those look like. And if they're still clicking through, I'll go back and add 2 more. And if they're still clicking through on those last 2, I'll go back and add 5 more. So that's why I put 5 to 10 is better, but at least start with 3. And like I told you before, I'll start to introduce other problems to them, where I can, send them to a new offer, making more money from them, or make money from them that maybe I wouldn't have made before. So maybe somebody's just now looking into paleo and they opted into my list and they saw the product and like, man, I don't, none of that food looks good to me or whatever. Now they're on my list and they're not even interested in paleo. So maybe like email number 3 would say, like for a subject line, paleo sucks with a question mark. And that would at least get the open. And then I would go into a thing that says, is paleo not really the best diet for you? Check out this one. You can eat anything you want every other day and still lose weight. And that's a real simple email. You'd be surprised at how well that would work, though. I just came up with that one. Just remember that value is what you want to deliver on a constant basis. Every time you send an email, there's got to be some kind of value in it. It's rare that I ever just send 100% pitch email out, because all it does is it trains people to click, but you don't want them to just robotically click on everything. You want them to be engaged with you as the person who's bringing them information. It doesn't have to be your name. In this paleo example, I didn't use me. I made up a lady. Her name was Julie, I think. I don't have a picture anywhere. I just put Julie in my emails as a signature. And then the from address is Julie. But other than that, I mean, I'm not lying about anything. All I'm doing is giving them value, telling them what they wanted to know about paleo, and then giving them a couple different things that they can buy. Oh yeah, one of the other things I got with that, with this PLR was like a, what was it? A list of, I can't remember what they call it, but it was like a list of regular non-paleo foods and a list of paleo foods. So if you like ice cream, there would be, you could just, it was a substitute list or something. I don't know what it was called, but food swap list. That's what it was. And so if you like ice cream, eat this instead. So the subject of that email was, I don't know, something like eat this, not that paleo food swap list. And I just attached it to the email as a download. I didn't even think I linked out to anything in that offer. That was just 100% value. And then the next email was almost 100% pitch, but I still put some kind of value in there what I was teaching them. I'm always teaching people stuff. So it may be something they already know, but you're at least reminding them. So just always give value. And I never go more than 4 days without sending an email. Usually 2 to 3 at the most. And then in markets like weight loss, or I mean, definitely internet marketing is every day. But weight loss, I'll do like 2 days probably. So the next step, which is probably the hardest out of all of them, is actually creating the ad that you're going to send out. Like I said before, I'll go to straight to the affiliate tools page just to get some ideas of the hook, because like in an example like Fat Diminisher, where they're selling probably $40,000 to $50,000 a day of Fat Diminisher, if not more than that. They're testing the banner ads, they're testing the swipe emails, so they're keeping on top of that stuff because they want their affiliates putting out the best possible marketing to get the most conversions. So I'll go straight to that and see what they're using to hook people, and the banners usually do a pretty good job because they're real. They got to be real precise and real pithy. It's got to be a real short headline. So I'll take a lot of the banner copy and turn that into a squeeze page. And then from there, create my ad out of that. So the subject line will usually be what the headline is on my squeeze page. You can do a lot of that with, your email. The email body copy doesn't have to be long. Even in a solo ad, you don't have to be telling a huge story there. You just really want to get the click. You just have to be, it has to be compelling enough to get the click. And like I said before, always make sure that it's congruent from start to finish, from email to squeeze to offer. I do like to use bullet points. I put that in there. Bullet points are, it's just one of those like psychological things where it's easier for people to digest bullet points than it is to read a paragraph of text. Then I usually always put at least 2 call to actions, if not 3. So I'll do one close to the top, one before a signature, and then one in the PS. Really as simple as that. Obviously, if you're gonna keep doing this, like with my paleo stuff, I'll when I get into the bigger buys, they'll usually let you split test, and I'll give them like 2 emails to split test, and that's where you get into more complicated tracking. So if you have questions on that kind of stuff when you get into it, don't hesitate to email me because I'm always available to answer that kind of stuff. All right, we're getting closer to the end, so if you guys have questions, go ahead and put them in there now. I do have some that I need to get to here, 4 or 5 of them, but kind of just a warning. All right, so here's the 2 niches that I'm getting into: dog training and weight loss. I've talked about weight loss a little bit in the Fat Diminisher product. I've had good success with that over the last 2 months, really. And that was just kind of the same deal as the paleo. I was kind of beating around the bush with it and trying to do my own thing and create products. And I'm like, you know what? I just need to throw up a campaign like I did with the paleo and just see how it works. And it worked like that. I mean, I use the exact same model as the paleo, and it worked even better. I mean, I had days where, as an affiliate, my commissions were up in the $400 a day category, and it's consistent. So, in that, there's ways that I can improve on that, and it's one of those things where I've got my hand in going in too many different directions. But if it's not broke, I'm not gonna worry about fixing it too much. That's kind of my thing, and $400 a day is $400 a day. So, but dog training, I'm kind of passionate about. We've got 2 dogs at home, both under 2 years old, and I don't know the first thing about training. I taught my dog how to sit and shake, but she's a really smart dog. My kids basically taught her how to do that. So, in the dog training stuff, it's more so like behavioral than it is like tricks. So my plan for that is actually, I think I have my plan for here. Yeah. I plan to quickly scale these to 100K per year businesses. The weight loss one, damn it, I didn't even figure that out. Hang on a second. Yeah, the weight loss one is there. Oops. Well, weight loss one is over 100,000 at $400 a day. Well, I mean that's not including the ad buy, but so I guess the 100K per year is the dog training because I haven't started that one yet. Just getting into that now. Actually, just this week I started. I'm creating my own product for that niche. So weight loss is more of an affiliate one. Dog training, I'm creating my own product, and I'm doing that by repurposing and organizing other information so I can create my own unique product. And I put Bottom Line Publications in there, which is Boardroom, the old Boardroom Reports guys. And so I don't know if any of you guys know them, but they're a huge, huge direct marketing business. If you can, I'm not even sure how to get on their list. I think you can go to I think it's bottomlinepublications.com. See if you can get on their list and just subscribe to their, what the hell is it? I just got one today. Here it is. Yeah, Bottom Line Personal. If you get on their list, they will mail you something like every single damn day. But it's fantastic marketing. They're really, really good at compiling information and marketing it. I've got this book. I've got 2 books here on my desk from them that I bought just because I wanted to see how they were doing stuff. And again, like I told you, I'm one of those guys that just I buy stuff so I can get on lists, so I can just analyze the hell out of what everybody else does. So what I'm holding in my hand is Bottom Line's Health Breakthroughs from 2016. And they've got, this thing is what the hell is it? 372 pages. And it is just packed full of health advice. And everything is nice and neat and organized. But all they really do is they go around and compile, they basically compile remedies, like stuff you've never heard of. So let me just read a couple of these off. Sweet drink beats lingering cough. Sleep device bonus. That was a bad one. How to cure snoring with a song. Let's see. Control blood sugar and keep fit with prebiotic sunchokes. It's just like all kinds of weird stuff that they compile into a big book, and they sell the book. The book's like $35, so it's a typical ClickBank price, but it's an actual book. This thing is huge. It's a hardcover. Probably costs them a hell of a lot of money to print. But they're a great example of a company that doesn't really specialize in anything. They're just really good at marketing and compiling information. So I decided to take a lesson from them and do the same thing with dog training and just look around. There's I just downloaded I bought a PLR, a huge PLR pack of dog training articles, 900 and some articles. And some of that stuff is gold. Some of it's complete garbage, but at least 60% of it is good stuff. So what I'm going to do is just take a really long time, because it's going to take a long time to go through all that, pull out the really good stuff, organize it in the categories. So whether it fits into like separation anxiety or dog potty training or health benefits or how to do tricks with your dog or whatever it is, I'm going to organize all that stuff and then go back through it, create a sales letter that sells very similar to Bottom Line stuff, kind of the weird stuff, like pull out the weird stuff and use that in the sales copy to sell the product. And I'll end up putting it on ClickBank to recruit affiliates and that kind of stuff. But it's a very easy way. I'm not going to say easy because that's a lot of work, but it's a quick way to get a product up, and you don't have to write any of it. All you're really doing is pulling out good stuff, maybe rewriting some of it if you don't like the way it sounds, but you're really just repurposing, reorganizing, and creating your own unique product out of it. There's a couple examples of this already on ClickBank. Trying to think of the Alternative Daily sells a coconut oil report, a apple cider vinegar report. Those are all very similar. It's all kind of the same compiling thing. So and actually the perfect example of this is the Ted's Woodworking offer. It's been around for years. All they did was went around the internet and pretty much took people's woodworking plans, put them all into one big site. It's like 16,000 woodworking plans, and they're selling that as a product. Whether or not that's legal, I don't know, because they're pulling other people's stuff in. But I'm not saying to do that. I'm saying to take the content itself, repurpose it, and restructure it so that you're making it more user friendly, like Bottom Line did. They've got a whole huge table of contents divided into sections and categories where people can easily find a solution to the problem they have. So with a dog, there's a lot of different problems that people have. They want to stop their dog from barking, biting, chewing, digging, snoring. Some dogs are hyperallergenic. They've got allergies. They itch a lot. There's a lot of different things that people have problems with. And there's just a lot of like fun stuff that you can put in there too, like how to teach your dog to play dead or cross their paws or stand up on two legs. And some of it's just like that, it's just the fun stuff. But putting it all into one big product like that, it just makes it gives more value to that price tag, because people, when you call it a book, people automatically assign it to a price of 10 to 20 bucks. When you're doing a digital product, you kind of lose that price. So you can't really call it a book. And a lot of people make that mistake by calling that paleo one that I was promoting, they call it the Paleo Grubs book. And that's probably the reason why your conversions aren't that great. I did decent with it, but I tried really damn hard with my emails to convert more. And you'd see I didn't convert anything initially right out of the gate. So, yeah, so that's my plan with this business. So with like the weight loss, if you're an affiliate, you have no desire to create a product like this. Take my weight loss example. I did the exact same thing as the paleo, the exact same thing. So tomorrow after this recording's up, go back in and look at how I did my paleo thing. Go back through, listen to the way that I set that up, and you can do that with any affiliate product you find on ClickBank. I mean, there is an endless number of niches in ClickBank that you can just go out right now. You don't have to do an email drop. This was just what I wanted to show you on this live training, because it's something I didn't cover at all in the main Newsletter Academy. Go back into the Newsletter Academy and find another traffic source if you're not comfortable with this. You don't need to come out of the gate spending $500 with this, but you can take this to pay-per-click if you want. It may be difficult to get a profitable campaign though, because I get 182 clicks for, in the paleo example, 182 clicks for $40. That's more math than I want to do right now, but it's around, I don't know, 20 cents a click, something like that. And and if you use Bing, you can get clicks for 20 cents in Bing, depending on the niche. For weight loss, I wasn't even able to get, 50 cents a click, but it just depends on what you're doing. So just remember, focus on list building. Again, this is something I haven't shared yet. Across all of my email lists, on average, this goes for gardening, internet marketing, weight loss, and a couple other niche markets that I don't really share with people. Each subscriber is worth to me $1.46 every single month. That's an average. I took an average across all of the lists that I have. $1.46 to me every single month. That means I can afford to spend whatever I want as long as it's less than $1.46 and still make money. That's huge. There aren't a lot of people that can say that a subscriber is worth that much money to them. And I can tell you that I would not have that number if I wasn't delivering value to people on a consistent basis on every single email that I sent out. So please remember that you have to give people value. Don't just send crappy spam emails that try to get a click and hopefully make $7. Give people value first, and I promise you will make money. May not be that email, may not be the next email, but they will give you money if you continue to give them value. So the thing that I want you still to take away from this is you have to build a list. It's still my number one thing for this whole training. It's what I do on a weekly basis in every market that I'm in, is make sure that my subscriber count is averaging whatever my number is for that business every single week. If it's not, there's something wrong and it's broken. If that number drops on a weekly basis, where I'm getting less subscribers than I should be, I start to get scared, because that's the lifeblood of the business. If I can't put X number of people on each list every single week, eventually that business will die. May not be this month, may not be next month, may not be a year from now, because I've already got thousands of people on certain lists, but it will eventually die. So just keep that in mind, that you have to build a list. You have to continually be adding people to that list. All right, so now is the time for questions. I've got something to get through here. So if you got some questions, this is like a last call, because once I get these answered, I'm going to shut her down and call it a night. So let's see. What ad did you use for the paleo list example? So I guess they're asking what my email looked like. Trying to think of what I told you, some of the follow-up emails, but the main email was basically, I don't remember the exact subject line, so don't take me word for word for this, but it was 470 paleo recipes. I think that was it. Get 470 paleo recipes. And then the main email itself was probably 10 lines long. It pretty much repeated that, and then it said everything that my squeeze page said. So, includes 470 paleo recipes, easy to make, plus a 10-week meal plan. That was part of it. And then all the, whatever it said down below, like includes appetizers, entrees, side dishes, desserts, drinks, and more. And it had some other stuff, but honestly, all I did was pull that information straight from the sales page. I went to the sales page of the product, pulled out what I thought sounded good, and added to the to make it sound more compelling, so that I had to click through to see maybe what some of the recipes were. So I think I did describe some of them, just so they could try to click through and see them. But it wasn't really anything very complicated. Nothing like you see from me in the internet marketing space. Wasn't a whole 500-word email. It was a real simple email that explained what it was, just to drive people to the squeeze page. All right. So they're saying, what's a good domain name to use for this strategy? I guess, yeah, that's a good question. Really, honestly, doesn't matter a whole lot. I guess it matters the most for the link that you put in the email that you're using for the ad. So I always recommend benefit-driven domain names. So for example, diabetes, I would say if the product I was promoting was how to cure diabetes, or I guess you can say that, I would just say cure diabetes now, whatever was available.com. Probably not available, but I would actually spend a decent amount of time on this, because you don't want to tie it to a specific product. So, for example, like the Paleo Grubs book, I wouldn't want to call it Paleo Grubs book special.com, because then if the Paleo Grubs offer suddenly went off the market tomorrow, I got to rebuild my whole business up around a new product. I want to build it around a problem that people have, but make it more of a solution to that problem. So as of right now, I have yet to purchase a domain for the dog training niche because I want to wait until my book or my product is created. I got to stop calling it a book. I got to wait till my product is created so that I could kind of get a better feel for what the main problems that it solves, and I can get a better idea for that. I have a whole list of available domains that are close to dog training, but I don't want to settle on one until the product's done. So I definitely recommend benefit-driven and like problem-solving headlines, or kind of like guarantees. So, the Cure Diabetes Now, or another one that I recently saw that somebody already has, but it's a good example, is it was like bloodsugarsolution.com or bloodsugarfix.com, and it was a diabetes one. So those are good examples. I try to stay with 3 words or less. For this type of business though, and for this strategy for email advertising, doesn't really matter, because not a lot of people are going to be typing it in. You're going to get some people that are maybe older that will take it from an email and manually type it in, but I wouldn't be worried about them too much. So in that case, you can go up to 4 words. So 3 to 4 words at the max for a domain name. Next question. What's the best way to track opt-ins, sales, etc.? Well, I went over that, I guess, kind of with the different solutions that I use. So like with Improvely, well, first of all, with my tracking script, you're not going to know how many people opted in and the conversion rates. You're not going to know that kind of stuff. That tracking script was mostly made to track a conversion back to a lead source, period. So I wanted to know if I'm running, like if I got 4 emails dropping today, I want to know which ones are getting me the most sales, and I don't want to have to spend money on a tracking solution to know that. So that's what that script is for. If you want to know opt-in rates, conversion to sale, and maybe if you're like split testing squeeze pages, you want to know which squeeze page version led to more sales, you're going to need a solution like Improvely or ClickMeter, or you may even need to go with like CPV Labs. So it depends on exactly how much information you want to know or need to know. When you're getting started though, like you're just now doing this, you could create a squeeze page for each email drop, and then from there redirect them so that you're going to know exactly how many sales came from each one, because you can redirect them wherever you want after they opt in. You can just redirect them with a special tracking link, and that's really like my affiliate script. It eliminates you having to create multiple squeeze pages because it's pulling in data from the URL. You could just add a parameter to the URL basically that says, hey, this came from this place, this one came from this place, and then the squeeze page pulls that data and then also just basically forwards it on to ClickBank. All right, still got a couple more questions here. Is it best to create my own products for the long term rather than just sell affiliate products? It's best to build a list. Honestly, that's my number one focus for this whole training. Because if Facebook blows up, if AdWords blows up, if ClickBank blows up and you don't have any products to promote, you still have an email list. You can still go out and write your own report and sell it to that list. Obviously, selling your own product and making more money always sounds better, but man, it's a lot of work. I forgot how much work it is until I started doing this dog training stuff, because you got You got to do research for the product. If you don't know anything about the niche, obviously you got to know what you're doing. You got to research the product, organize the product, create the product, do all the graphics for the product, do all the graphics for the promotions, like the banners for if you're going to do affiliates. That's even more work. You got to do sales copy for the sales page. It's got to be decent copy to actually convert so you can make your money back. So I would suggest starting out as an affiliate, just because, like in my paleo example, it was fairly easy. You just gotta you gotta get the right list. So it's kind of the old Halbert thing of message to market match. You want to put the right offer in front of the right person at the right time. But if you got to create all of the copywriting, you got to do all that stuff. That's a lot of work and a lot of other expertise you need. So I would suggest doing it as affiliate, unless you already have a product that you know is converting. This is a perfect, basically another place that you can just run that same funnel. So to answer your question, I would say long term, I would like to have my own product, but to test a market that you're not familiar with, I would be an affiliate first. I'm not doing that in the dog training niche just because I know it's a valid niche and people spend money there like crazy. And I kind of know what I'm doing, not to sound arrogant, but I've been around long enough to know when I can enter a market and whether or not the product I'm creating is going to sell. So the answer is start as an affiliate to get a test of the market, and then once it's working, then you can maybe create your own product to fill a void in the market, to find a place where people aren't getting what they're looking for, and kind of go from there. All right, next question. Can you give a rough idea of what kind of budget you would use to test a niche and how you would allocate it? First of all, I don't know that I would kind of set a budget. I would just, I would start very small. So, I started with $40 in paleo. You definitely don't want to start with a $500 drop just because you don't know what's going to happen. And I can tell you right now, if you approached many of those brokers on that list that I gave you, they're going to ask for $300 or more. So Archimax is one of the ones on there that I use and I recommend you use once you're comfortable with it. And for most of their lists, they've got tons of lists and tons of different niches. Most of their lists, their minimum buy is $300, which is, that's good. $300 isn't a whole lot. It is a lot. I'm not going to say it's not a lot. It's a lot of money for somebody that is never done this before. But it's a good test budget. So to answer your question, I personally would not spend more than $300 right out of the gate initially on my first email buy. And as far as like how you would allocate it, I guess that's what you're asking is where would you spend the $300? I wouldn't spend it across multiple lists. I would take the time up front and find the list that you think is going to be the best fit for what you have to promote. So, if money is a huge concern for you and you're scared to death to spend $300, I would take a week or two myself, find every single list I can find, and put myself on those lists, like I told you I do with my own separate email account, and just look at the emails they're sending out and say, that one they're sending out stuff that I don't think is close to even what I want to promote. Cross them off, and then over the course of the next week or two, you're gonna land on a couple lists that look like they're getting pretty close to the type of stuff you want to promote. So that's how I would do it. I would really take the time to research each and every list that's out there and find the best one for the product you have to promote. All right, we're getting close to 2 hours. I only got one question left, so me see. Let me make sure that I only got one question left. Okay, yeah. So here we go. So are you not actually giving anything away on your squeeze pages? That's a good question. I did say earlier that in the paleo example, I'm not. No, I'm not giving him anything away. I'm not giving a free report or a video or anything. And that may seem counterintuitive to what I'm telling you as far as giving value. But in a lot of niches, they just want that thing. They don't care about the free stuff up front because a lot of people know that you're just trying to sell them stuff eventually. So in this market, again, I was just wanting to get a test out there. I wanted to see what the heck was going to happen. So I did that, created the page, sent them straight to it. It worked. I did the same thing in weight loss. I didn't give them anything. All I did was send them the squeeze page I used in weight loss was free video, reveals X, and it was basically a swipe from a banner, the fat diminisher, send them straight to the sales page. The follow-ups deliver value. So I give them stuff on the back end because I want them to I want to build a relationship with them, and I want them to trust me kind of as an authority in that niche, even though I'm not really an authority in the niche. I'm just giving them value and giving them things that are interesting to them and stuff they want to know. But in other cases, like in the dog niche, I will be giving them free stuff. I am going to give them a couple free reports that are going to be really just sales pitches in disguise, but are also going to deliver value. But I will still do the same methods of. It's going to take a little bit of finessing in the dog niche because I'm selling a product that's not one specific problem. It's all kinds of problems. So take for example, keeping your dog from jumping up on people. What I'll have to do is create a squeeze page that says one, and I think I even did this somewhere maybe in the Newsletter Academy. One weird trick stops your dog from jumping up. Enter your email address. So from there, it'll take them to like a pre-sale page where it tells them all the why your dog jumps up on people, but doesn't tell them how to fix it. And at the bottom of that page, it says, to learn how to stop your dog from jumping up and so many other things, click here. And then it'll take them to the sales page that sells them the product. So the product is, how to keep your dog from doing all kinds of stuff as well as all these other things. So I'll have to take a whole different approach in that niche, but I will still be giving stuff away. One of the things that I also bought for PLR for that was like homemade dog recipes for like treats and stuff. So I'll probably put together something of like a little recipe book for that to give away. And that'll it's not going to really attract a lot of good prospects, but it'll give me some people on the list that I can build a relationship with and maybe hopefully eventually sell them the product too. So that's kind of a long way to answer your question, but yeah, in that example, I wasn't giving anything away. No, I wasn't giving any report or anything away. And I do that sometimes I don't. It just depends on the niche too, really. But I always suggest split testing it. The ultimate thing, you don't want to come across as this, but you need to make money. You're spending money on this. You're spending money on advertising. You're doing this to make money. So in the back of your mind, you have to do the thing that's going to make you the most money. So what I recommend for people is down the line, split testing totally different funnels. And I didn't get into that because I think it's way too early for that for you guys. But a funnel is just one page, like I said. But so you're really just split testing squeeze pages. But you can see which method leads to the more sales. So one squeeze page would say, download this free report on the paleo diet. You're probably going to get a lower conversion rate on that because it's not a very good opt-in, but you never know. That lower conversion rate may actually have a way higher conversion to sale in the end. and you may end up making more money from that. And that's the stuff you don't know until you split test and track your conversions all the way through. And that's when you need the tools like Improvely and ClickMeter and the CPV labs. The ClickMagick is another one too that I didn't mention before. But yeah, that's really advanced kind of, and not something you need to do out of the gate. So last chance. I don't have any questions right now, so I am going to call it quits for tonight. Thank you guys so much for staying on live the whole time, and I will get this posted in the members area tomorrow morning, just as soon as I hopefully it should be done here in the next hour or two, but I'll get it posted online in the members area tomorrow morning. And if you guys have any more questions, I will check these questions because sometimes they come in late. Like I said, it lags behind. But you can always email me, and I will definitely answer your questions anytime. Just reply to any of my emails. They usually come back to me, and I promise to answer your questions. So, again, thank you guys so much, and I hope you got a lot out of tonight's training, and have a good night.